It was like a lot of, it was actually like hyper philosophical, like Ram Dass based stuff and what, like influenced by
We
things
are
like that.
all one, but what is one but a mathematical construct made by our brain to survive? Keep on salivating, honeys. Greetings, love light, loves, and all the light out there that is made of love.
Here's what happened. I didn't give Ramin an update on what this episode was going to be. And I forgot. I didn't even forget about the costumes. I thought you were going to forget about the costume.
Close. Very close. But all's well that ends well, and I got it, and I didn't even show up late. I showed up right on the dot, because that's what love light angels do. So is this episode still about the light triad, or is this NASCAR? Oh, it was the NASCAR episode. I'm not wearing a single logo. Not one. Get some Tide on me. Get some Clorox. There's more than cleaning brands. I can't even name a single thing that's on a NASCAR. I know its logos, but I don't know any of the logos. This is the not episode. It's the episode that was going to be something, and then it was something else, and now we don't know what it is, but it is, kind of like all our lives. What am I? What am I supposed to be?
Oh, there's too many things to track. First off, you don't remember any NASCAR logos?
Name one. Is Tide one? Is Tide on a car?
Tide's the one we both know, and that's it. But there's got to be like
Pep Boys? Crispix? Butterfinger?
Does Marlboro still do things or not?
It feels like that was bad in 2003, and then we moved on to other stuff like, what else is bad? Let's not do that either. Probably earlier than that. I think there's so many laws that cigarettes can't do stuff.
They can't be cool anymore.
Nope.
Because there's too many laws now. Oh my god.
The boys are back.
You are on fire. Everything about this is so amazing.
Oh, good.
Everything. I'm embarrassed for me. Like, I can't believe this is what I'm wearing. And I couldn't, like, I don't know. I know we like surprising each other with things, and usually I can just go to a costume store, because what this episode was going to be was a light triad episode, which we'll do because we had a popular dark triad episode. So we're going to do some light triad episode. We talked about narcissism and Machiavellianism and psychopathy. And so we're going to talk about the light side of that, which we still
What is the light side? Caring, kindness, and forgivement. Love, sharing, and, well, actually, it breaks down into empathy, sympathy, and ecology.
And so our plan was to get dressed up as like angelic empaths and stuff. I was going to go to the store, and I don't have my laptop with me or anything.
You didn't bring a computer? How are you doing? Oh, because you brought the Mac Mini.
You can do it. You can do it if you want to. I mean, I could pull it up. We could still do it if you wanted. We'll feel it out.
No, I'm cool with doing this as a whatever episode.
So good.
What if it's the whatever episode?
because I was going to get what I normally do is I just go to I cheat. I go to the costume store. I spend $40 on the most ridiculous thing that I can find. And I usually outdo you. And
well, I don't think I spent $40 on all the costumes put together.
I know, but you make your own. Like the Santa beard was legendary. That was incredible. And that's part of what makes it magic. But I don't think I could spend $10,000 and look as good as you look right now. I forgot to turn on my angel. There we go. That's a little more angelic. And
what was the episode going to be? You said you were going to update me and you forgot to, which another preface for this, Shane is still in Lakeside Retreats in Raleigh where the campout's going to be. And I was in Vegas and I'm back for just today. And then I'm off to Austin and I'm only home for less than 24 hours. So we're just scrambling around and get just popped right back in. Dude, news at 5. We're still back in the TVs.
Quick scramble, throw on a dress. And what's the dress to me? Not that unusual. Like that works. But this was a really nice touch. What's the white? It's
just the rope that ties the dress on the back because, dresses get tied up in the back. I just threw it over my head like a halo. And I was almost going to just wear a white dress shirt. And then Catherine goes, no, wear this. And I go, when I stretch it.
Catherine has such good taste.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. That was vision. Oh, sorry, I interrupted your stretching conversation.
I don't remember what the stretching is.
When you stretch it, you said something about when you stretch it, something happens.
Oh, well, because she's smaller than me. And then I'm like, well, if I put it on, I'll stretch it. And then she says, well, I have boobs. And I'm like, oh, right, boobs. So that should even out the things, unless I stretch out the shoulders or something. But mom is more important. It's more important to get a good ep than it is to protect special dress.
So important. You look fantastic. I'm hoping you'll wear that to the Mind Under Matter Campout Festival, which is
I would never.
Which is looking more like a festival by the day. I was going to tell you things before we started recording, but I didn't know that you were going to show up like this. So I was going to prep you with some things, and then you showed up.
Just lay it on me.
And I had to hit record. And so I just finished another weekend at the Lakeside Retreats. So the last episode that we did was the One Wheeler Fest, and how that works is the owner of Lakeside Retreats, Soup.
Did you call it Receipts? That's a good one too. Yeah. Lakeside Receipts.
Lakeside Receipts. Soup, who is his main thing is Life is Art, a lighting production studio that does lighting for all these big concerts and everything. So I went to the One Wheeler thing that he just gave them the space to do whatever they wanted. And so then I came back and I reported, I'm like, this needs to be bigger. This property is bigger. And I was like, this is amazing. This property is incredible, and Soup's amazing and everything's great. I'm so glad. I can't believe is that what almost happened is that we are going to be yeah, we'll just put out a camp festival and show up 4 days before and figure it all out. Planning from a distance, which we would have done. We would have figured it out, and Soup's great and would have taken care of us. But then I went to his event, this casual camp out that he has. And Soup's not great at marketing. He didn't have a lot of people there and stuff. There was there was 200-300 people there or something like that.
That's a lot of people. I guess not for that size space, but
everyone was walking around going, why aren't there more people here? This is amazing. So when I went to the One Wheel Festival, it was just like, you know, they did their stage and everything. They set up everything, booked bands. Soup has a whole, I posted some stories on Instagram. Soup, with his Life is Arts Festival, he has a whole huge, the fanciest board of things I've ever seen, like in the music booth or whatever, and lighting booth, that I've ever seen in my 17 years of entertainment. And I actually, and he's doing all these like crazy projections and everything else. And I actually stopped through the office today just because I was running to Best Buy to like pick up a few things, to like test out a few things that I'm working on. And I asked him if he needed anything, and he was pulling in this huge, massive lighting board that they use. They're bringing it back into the office, and he's like, "Have you ever heard of fish?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've heard of fish. I was at the Gorge."
What's that?
It's this famous venue in Oregon that's like over it's actually really applicable because it has just this scenic overlook. So you have the stage, but then there's just this beautiful scenery and everything behind it. And he is like, "Oh, well, they were using this lighting board. They sold it to us."
Nice.
After they were using this for 10 years. It's the fucking lighting board that Fish was using.
I'm not familiar with the show. Is there like good lights?
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine
like,
there is.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I've actually never been to a jam band thing. I'm thinking about it. I've never been to a Fish concert. I've never been to String Cheese Incident.
Well, me either. I started, you know, because I worked weekends all the time. I didn't go to things like this. But yeah, I mean, Fish is a weird story, and I don't totally get them, to be honest. And I don't, like, I think I fit in with their crowd enough.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't get their music, because, like, when their music's on in the background, I'm like, yeah. I don't ever be like, "I need to see all of what the like their fans are. Like, I don't get that. Trey? I don't get that. I'm always just like, okay, all right, yeah. Which is like also its own vibe. But I guess they started as a Grateful Dead cover band.
That makes sense.
And then they just expanded from there, which is
yeah,
like,
they've probably sired many jam bands. I wonder if Grateful Dead is considered like one of the original. I mean, you could say like, well, is jazz a jam band? But that's a different thing. It's like long songs, lots of soloing, dad energy. Like, even if they're young, even if they're 18, it's still some kind of a dad energy to it.
There's a real dad energy. I went to David Gilmour with Dave Waite. And
Dave Waite's got a great jam band bit. He's got like 10-minute chunk on concerts and stuff.
Dave Waite he knows what's good and cheap. He knows how to have a great time for a little amount of money. So he'll find like, you know, whatever jam, like he'll find like Fish or whatever, and then be like, the keyboardist is playing in their own band here. And it's still an awesome vibe and everything else. That's like, he's the fucking master of that. But yeah, we went to David Gilmour together.
Now that's got a good light show.
And not bad. Roger Waters is way better.
Okay.
David Gilmour, pretty parsed down.
Just a flashlight, like on his soloing with the reverb.
Yeah, let me describe it the way Dave Waite did to me while we were sitting there. He's like, "Oh man, this is just like two dudes." He goes, "Oh man, this is just two dads noodling in the garage. That's what this is." they're just noodling up there. And he loves that because he loves dads. He loves the idea of dads. He loves everything about dads. He's going to be at the fest. Oh, you know what other friend of ours is going to be at the fest?
You texted me, I can't act surprised, but I am excited.
Zach Sherwin.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
We're going to try to figure out some things. Yeah. Once I told him, because I asked him if he could do this crossword show that he's doing and without a screen. He's like, no, that wouldn't really work. And then I showed him then after I saw all the things, I'm like, well, what can you do with all this? And Zach Sherwin, by the way, does epic rap battles of history and all these. He used to go by MC Mr. Napkins and stopped rapping.
That's a decade ago. Actually, more than a decade ago.
Yeah. More than...
I can't imagine him as MC Mr. Napkins.
He was so good, dude. When I first saw him, I love when I see a spark of talent like that. It was incredible.
I can imagine, I've seen his, of course, performances and stuff. Of course, I can imagine that, and I know it. But just the name MC Mr. Napkins, and he has a song about putting away saying goodbye to his stage name.
It's a beautiful
which people
one.
do sometimes. Sometimes they add it. Sometimes they get rid of it. Sometimes it's a new thing every year, like Snoop Dogg, Snoop Lion, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, P. Dizzle. It's just did now. Remember when people listened in the early 2000s, like, this just in, Puff Daddy is now did. Whoa.
And they didn't understand it either. That was the most confusing thing that happened to humans. 10 years ago, the most confusing thing, if you were a human being, was you had to get used to saying P. Diddy.
But what about Puff Daddy? Does he still smoke the reefer, though? And then Snoop Lion.
That was the worst part of living, was keeping track of that. Oh,
yeah,
my
I heard
God.
he lived close to the MTV TRL thing and just went by there every week because it was so close. And then he realized he could connect with the youth more if he just popped by, which was a good plan. Ancient history now. Kids today have never heard of TRL or Carson Daly, who probably still has the same talk show.
I don't know if he does or not. What an odd character he always was. That was you don't want to pop too fast, I guess. In Carson Daly's case, he just got real hot in a hurry, didn't change a thing about what he did, and just
what did he
steadily
do?
Downhill.
What was one thing about his personality? Because it wasn't personality.
I think it was a blank canvas.
Yeah, that you project what you want onto it. Yeah.
Carson Daly was a Rorschach test.
He was. Sure. And he probably looks exactly the same.
He does. He has
maybe 3 gray hairs, which he can pluck out in the morning.
Yeah.
You miss. You normally get 7 of the dark hairs. Damn, this time I'll get the gray.
I found a gray hair in the beard.
No, it's over.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was a fluke. I mean, I haven't, if you look at this thing that I have going, I've been camping out for 2 weeks now, like a Neanderthal. I haven't put conditioner in this thing or anything. Still
looks good.
Luscious, flowing.
Can't say it smells good. I don't know, but
yeah,
it looks good.
It's all right.
Is there anything you miss about civilization, or are you happy to be there? I mean, of course you're happy to be there, but is there anything it's I kind of wish the way my shower head would Gatling gun me?
No, there's I don't want to share secrets.
Oh no! Don't spoil any surprises. We've got surprises of all sizes that we want to keep.
You know what we got to do?
We got to keep it behind.
I think we should do an episode one time where we talk about all of the things that we're excited about the camp out to surprise people with, and McCool just bleeps all of those aspects, like when we say so we're going to make a boat carpet this, and then we're why are they so excited about a boat carpet bleep? And they'll
So it'd be
have
like
to
a
come to
reality
find
show.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, just bleep every other word. No, that would be tremendously fun for us and annoying for anyone listening to it. I hate it so much where someone brings up something and then they go, I can't tell you on here. I'm going to tell you after the recording.
Really?
Just spill the gossip. Just not with
like
this,
to
of course.
spill?
No, when I'm listening. I hate when I'm listening and then they bring up the thing. Like, just edit that out. Don't say that you know someone in the Illuminati, but you can't say.
Oh yeah, we're not spilling things for people's own enjoyment when they get here, because if they know every detail when they arrive, they're not going to be like, what? Okay.
You've heard the Billy Corgan thing, right? When he was talking about a shapeshifter who he saw someone change their face. They like morphed into a different face and he noticed it and he inquired about it. And then the person said, don't worry about it. And then walked away. And it was in a room full of powerful people. And then when he was questioned more about it, he's like, I've already said too much. I can't say anymore. So I think he's just full of crap, but I still hate when like, you're just trying to make us think that you saw the alien.
Yeah, I can't say. It's not that sort of thing. Anything that we're holding back are things that you will see in person.
It's going to pay
just
off.
Be that much more excited about. And
or on video, right? Like when we document it and then turn the document into whatever it becomes.
I think this is worth making a documentary out of. I think we should make a special out of this.
Yeah, we'll call it Finding Nemo, Finding Campout.
Why did you say Finding Nemo so slow?
Most of the time, I don't know why I do any of the things. It's all a big mystery. People think of mystery as, darkness, and then there's a galaxy spiraling out and life comes out of it. But sometimes mystery is just saying Finding Nemo slowly when the documentary should not be called Finding Nemo. Nemo is not going to be at the campout. There's probably fish. There's a big lake there. There's got to be fish in it.
There's fishing.
Can you fish?
Yeah, you can fish. Yeah.
Have you fashed?
I haven't fashed myself, but I saw people fashing and people fashed some fish.
I'm a bit of a fascist myself. I've never fished, but I'd love to be a fascist.
The problem is you getting it off the hook. Worst thing about it takes some desensitizing to get into it, like a porta potty situation. That's what like the most people are scared of, is like the porta potty situation at any one of these things. I'm like, how come none of these have the paper things that you pull off and put on the seat?
What, they don't?
Solves everything. I think we're going to. I think we're going to get that. Splurge for some paper things, but you know what I was thinking? Here's just like, this is a nothing thing. I was thinking in some fashion having around the porta potties or a sticker or on them or something like that, your artwork, George Carlin. We all do it.
Done. Done. I don't have it. I don't have the gravel today. I've got something in my throat. It's not COVID. I took a test, but I've got some. You ever have a bad throat day? Not like it's sick, but it's just something's up with it.
Yeah.
Something's going on with it.
Yeah. That's what you have going on. Well, I hope you don't have COVID.
No, I don't. I did the check and I really gave it a run for its money. Both nostrils, full time. Did the squeeze of the bottle to make sure that it won't be a false negative. Like I almost squeezed COVID out of it. It doesn't have any COVID in it. I almost did the test so perfectly that it would show up like.
You gave it
give it the full rub down.
Oh, wow.
Actually, it's getting a little better. Maybe I just needed to drink something or water.
You could be a competitive nose swabber, I feel like.
I wouldn't call it a competition, though. Maybe they could battle for second. Yeah, they just make the trophy me, and then who gets the second trophy, which is a different shape. Oh, did we ever decide what this episode should be? Because if it's not light triad, and it's not questions and it's not answers.
We told people we weren't going to do this, but I have some like rather ridiculous news, and so we need to update people because we were going to talk about this before the recording. But I'm moving to Raleigh.
Cool! We could do a moving episode.
Yeah, this is the moving episode. I'm doing it.
Let's do it.
I already have a place. This is
Stamped as the episode moving. Did you move as a kid? When's the last time you moved? Do you like staying in the same place for a long time? Strongly agree, strongly disagree. I've moved several times. I just moved in January. There. Oh, thank goodness. The episode has a theme now. I'm okay with it having no theme as long as we brand it as
yeah. God forbid we just laugh really hard and wear a silly costume. No.
People are here for the theme, the episode name, the title, the artwork.
You know what I thought about? I thought about because I was getting in my head about all of this because it's a lot of pressure in the 2 Campout episodes that we did. In hindsight, I was like, I was way too focused on the concerns and everything. And here's how we'll manage your worries and stuff, because that's the shit that I need to think about to like make the thing happen. And then I just thought and then we are getting in our head about, we don't want the whole podcast to be about the fucking festival and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, this is like the beginning of the show again. I was already so like nervous after year 1 of like, that was such a good year. Where do we go from here? That was amazing. Like, and it started so perfect and it ended great. And this is like that, where we get to hash out it just the same way we started this podcast, where it was like, what is the show? I don't know. What do we call it?
Yeah, it's true.
So amazing that we get to hash this out in real time for people, because this is, I don't know if it was last episode. No, it was on the phone. We were talking and you were like, would you call this a once in a lifetime opportunity? And I was like, I don't know if I'd say that. And I'm like, yeah, I think so. I think this is going to be absolutely incredible. And, and I'm fucking fired up about it. So anyway, I was going to share some updates on the things that have happened since
last epi.
Since last epi.
So you're not living in Wisconsin anymore. You've moved to North Carolina.
I got to go back to Wisconsin. I got to drive back to Wisconsin. Get your toothbrush
and stuff, yeah.
I have stuff there. You know what I have there? I have like the first 222 people that buy tickets, which now we are getting a higher capacity than that, without a doubt. But because it fills the space better. I was there with like 300, 400 people, and I had this last weekend, I was like, I haven't had, and it was like, if you looked around, it was like dead, because like 200-300 people in this space is like nothing. And not like nothing, but there were situations where I felt bad for like certain bands there, because there's like 2 stages, you know, and like artist areas and everything else. There's just like so much amazing stuff that like I went over, and there's a band that was going to play at this field stage. That's this big expanse that like no one was going by. And I'm like, do you guys want me to set you up a campfire in front of the stage? So I fucking drove some vehicles around and got a campfire set up for them to start like drawing people around to collect people and everything. And I love figuring out the atmosphere of a thing like that and talking to people about it. So I got to like go around a festival and not just meet a bunch of like awesome people. The One Wheel Festival, I was like, this is really awesome. This is way more awesome than I would have ever imagined. But I wasn't talking with like that many people and like connecting with people. But this one, I was like, not just connecting with a bunch of people, but I was like, asking them. I was like sharing some of my plans and stuff like that, and like seeing what they liked and didn't like, and like sharing ideas that I had. I shouldn't say didn't like. Everyone liked everything.
What did they pretend to like, and you could tell in the tone of their voice?
Okay, that's a good one. Soup is way too humble, so he just undersells everything that he does.
Yes.
Everything that he does. He's way too humble. So like the marketing of it was like, it's no big deal. It's just a casual camp out or whatever. And like I talked with people that just took a chance on going, that they couldn't find pictures, they couldn't find videos, they just like knew one of the artists on the bill, which like any of the artists on the bill we can easily get for the camp out, no problem, Bob.
Banksy, Picasso, Back from the Dead, you got it.
You got it. And so everyone was just like, why do they undersell what this space was? Everyone was just dreaming of what this space could be. It was
like
the
Yoko
incredible
thing. You ever hear the Yoko story of?
No.
She said she has a exhibit at the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York City, and then put out an ad for it, and then people would show up, and then the person at the front desk is like, "What are you talking about? There is no Yoko exhibit." So she sent thousands of people to an exhibit that didn't exist, and then she says, "Well, on your way to it, you were imagining what it was you were going to see. That was the exhibit, but still paid for the ads to go to the nothing." And then this is kind of the opposite. This one, he says that like nothing, there's nothing, expect nothing, and then there is lots of stuff.
Can I share something with you?
Of course, it's the sharing hour. It's the share show here.
There is
Sharon, Lois, and Bram.
The motto of North Carolina is "Esse quam videre."
No green sauce. What's it mean?
That's a very good guess, actually.
Keep it green. Keep your feet green. Green out.
It's only a guess because I get the connection with the saying videre. It means to be rather than to seem.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think that fits what you were just saying.
Yeah.
And I think
I don't
that's
know what
we're
mottos
doing.
are. I mean, Texas is the Lone Star State. New York is forget about it. California is I'm like, hi.
I don't think any of those
California
are real.
is comma, like, comma, hi. Have a nice D.
I think we need to always record at the late time hour.
Late nights with Conan O'Brien are where it's at. What if we did a night year? Because we did mostly a daytime
I can't believe
year.
I've been torturing you with getting you up at the butt crack of 2 p.m. when I didn't know. Yeah, 7 p.m. Not that you haven't been pure fire through the whole podcast.
No, I've had some
wow.
stinkers, and I'd love to actually plot it out and see where I'm the most energetic and where I'm like fading out of existence, but not fading out because I know this is a permanent thing for as long as YouTube exists or Spotify exists or servers exist.
Collecting data. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's weird that it takes up the same real estate. Like people will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a music video and edit it so that every shot is thought of. But we're also just putting video out, but we're not thinking of every motion. I'm not like this hand gesture or this word, but it's still, you know what I mean? It's still filling up the player.
Yeah.
So I have to remind myself of that every now and then. Like, oh crap, this is video. It's a show. Hey.
That is the one thing that I do like, when people talk about like cancel culture, you can't say anything.
People don't talk about that.
One thing that I think is an actual relevant concern is it is crazy. Never in human existence have you ever just been able to like freeze frame someone's face or have them say like one word out of context, and oh my god, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
And edit it. You can edit fucking anything. You can edit the Pope. I'm trying to think of a good person, but anyway, you can edit a good person in a way that would make them seem bad.
I mean, look at how many people we have documented in blackface during like a pocket of time where it was like, no, it was okay in 2009 because we were doing it ironically, and then it comes back and then the photo still exists.
Oof. Oofda.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw, I forget what this is connected to. Oh, right. Cancel culture, because Bill Maher talks about it a lot. Like when you see an interview with him, but he walked right by me. We were at the Mirage in Las Vegas and he walked by. I guess he was doing a show at the lounge in the hotel. And he was in the middle of a Bill Maher rant, but just regular style, talking to whoever was next to him. I was like squinting. I'm like, is that? And then I hear the voice, like, you're wrong. And I'm like, it's him.
What? Oh, wow. Like Larry David does?
Yeah,
like,
I'm right. You're wrong. I can't do it. Only Kyle Dunnigan has a perfect Mar, and perhaps other people, but.
Yeah. So what were you in Vegas for?
Wedding. Christina Parrish's wedding.
Ah.
Are you familiar? Are you familiar with Lil Bird Killer?
Little Bird Killer? I think
She's a comedian. That's just her screen name.
I think so. I think I follow her.
Christina and Joe.
Okay. And then when is the mural thing?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow morning.
Oh my God. We'll keep this short. And how long are you there for in Austin?
Till Saturday.
Tomorrow until... And then you're back?
Yeah, then I'm back, baby.
Oh, so we could record again. We don't need to miss
yeah, we're
a
gonna
week.
be fine. We're just cutting it zibbing and zabbing close.
Okay. I'll be back in Wisconsin then. We could record a couple things because we have like a bonus episode we have to do too. I was going to recommend us taking a week off because boy, do we have a lot on our plate.
Yeah, in every direction.
In every direction. So here's what I have tomorrow. There's I hope
it was okay to say that wedding. No, it's okay to say it. I went to a wedding that I went to and that they post photos of online.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes I'm just, when I talk about anything, is it okay to say that? Is it okay to say I saw Bill Maher with his little glasses? Every comedian, when they're not on stage, has glasses and a hat. If you're successful.
I like that. Like it's like a more nuanced version of the. It's funny because comedy started with the fake glasses and mustache gag. That was like the epitome comedy of what like comedy. As we were figuring it out, I was like, what if you wear glasses with a mustache thing?
Is it based on Groucho Marx, or that's just a coincidence?
I think so.
Oh, they're actual Groucho glasses.
I think so. So yeah.
Oh, you're a manager? You don't look like a crook. that era of comedy is so good. You just had a cigar and just snarky. Not to just diminish that, but it's everything flowers out into nuance and sarcasm. And then before it was just a simpler time.
It really was. Do you watch The Marvelous Miss Maisel?
I watched the first season, and then the second season I didn't. It didn't cling me. It didn't glue me. The first one, it's zibbing and zabbing. She's going to the open mic. The parents are crazy. The other guy's parents are crazy. The Alex Bornstein character is great. And then I don't know. It was missing
the second season.
Yeah, it was missing. See, there you go. It doesn't pull you in. You gotta like tug of war the viewer in nowadays. Our attention spans have been shredded.
Yeah. Yeah.
to nothing.
That's one of the best things that's been around here. I've been in a yurt for a while now. And one of the things is there's weak ass Wi-Fi. Like there's during events, there's like things that you can do. And, you know, depending on the size of things, you know, like there's ways of getting Wi-Fi, and I have Verizon, and AT&T happens to work better here and everything. And it's been so wonderful in every way to not want to deal with my phone. The only thing is I'm shooting a bunch of footage and everything to share with people, and uploading stuff is really hard. But other than that, oh man.
Could you drive 20 minutes to town and get a Starbucks and then zip it up?
Oh yeah. Like I could walk to a different part of the property if I was so inclined and have better.
Oh, there is good
reception.
internet. But it's just not where the camp is. I like that. It's there for an emergency, but you don't.
You want me to share one of my ideas that I had today? This is like a spoiler, but it's fine because
it's just an idea right now. So it's not.
It's just an idea. So remember when I was talking about how we'd have the science plateau and the like woo-woo plateau or a peninsula?
Peninsula.
On the
plateau sounds like no progress.
Yeah. No, they're on a hill anyway. So there's like 4 different sections around the lake, and then this huge field where everyone's camping. And one section, science section, the other section, woo-woo section. And there's already a sauna there. I think that we'll add like ice baths to make it like wellnessy, because there's already people that want to. There's already people mentioning on Discord, and then some people already want to like teach yoga and stuff and have a few
ice
things like
yoga.
That. Ice yoga.
We've heard of hot yoga. What about ice yoga?
I've been so scared to oversell what this thing can be, but now I'm like, I think I know how to market this and everything, and I'm not worried about getting people like I was in the last podcast. It's
fun to document.
It's just too awesome.
It's like last episode of talking about this, very worried about hitting a certain number. Now like, oh, it's going to be fine. And then who knows, in 2 weeks, we'll be like, oh no, what about the monkeypox pandemic? And then, oh no, the monkeypox pandemic isn't going to take off.
Monkeypox are not of less than 1. So you don't have much to worry about. That
of
means
what?
The R naught is the number of potential people that it spreads to.
Oh, okay. It doesn't have that exponential potential.
Right.
I think it was just trending on. I mean, look at us over here. You're country camp boy right now, and I'm city. I was literally just in the city of the most lights ever.
Yeah.
And then I checked Twitter, and it talks about monkeypox copulos.
Well, it's also visual because there's blisters and things. And we talked about smallpox on the show before, how they can like leave scarring and everything. And so, you know, like people don't want to have like scars on their body when they can just settle for a regular old respiratory disease and brain invading bat virus 3 to 4 times a year. But we don't want a blister.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the, I mean, not to, I would certainly hate to diminish anything that happens from it, but me just being in a yurt, knowing very little about the situation and not having internet access, I can tell you that it's like pretty localized to areas that have like exceptionally poor healthcare, and it's transmitted symptomatically rather than also asymptomatically, like COVID.
So you have to actually be making monkey sounds for it to.
You have to be making monkey sounds, yeah,
to travel. No, I think I was just bringing that up as a potential concern, and there could be world concerns, our concerns, but I like what you brought up earlier about how the start of this show was episode 0. Like there is audio of this show before it was this show. Yeah. It was almost an episode of a different show that sprouted in this direction.
Yeah.
And now we've documented Who knows what year 3 will be? I think we already joked about it being space, but maybe it won't be. Maybe Mom in space.
Well, the crazy thing about all of this is you were like, we need a mum amusement park and stuff from the beginning. And
yeah,
now
like
I'm
episode 1 or something.
I think that we can do that. I mean, I think that we actually can. It's amazing what can happen when you connect with really interesting, smart, talented people.
Thank you.
That are passionate about things and are up for getting things done. You, of course, I'm talking about people like Soup and all of the artists that you and I know together. It's exciting. There's an exciting energy about it because like the crazy thing about planning a festival, at least in my case, where this is like a very favorable position, I can't imagine just how people pull this off. Just like, yeah, we should, it takes a right set of circumstances. Someone needs to have land. Some other people need to have this and that and these things. And then you start with 100 people and hope it doubles next year or whatever. And then it takes off. But this is, oh shit. Where was I going?
Knowing talented people, and like it's one thing, you're talking about making it happen, but it's on your own.
It's that everything is actually really doable. It's like it's just that there's too many things. That's what it is. It's like, you mean I can get that? Like today, it's like this fucking incredible drone pilot that flew the one. It's like, you mean that guy will come for like $500 and fly around the drone everywhere and shoot like incredible scenes? Deal. $500. Why? But everything's like that. So there's just like 10,000 things that are $500. So then you got to go, whoa.
Yeah, let's pull it together and just get the biggest bouncy castle we can.
Yeah. So that's really what everything's like. But truly, like there's so many ways of, if you're making something that's cool and exciting that people are enthusiastic about, there's like no shortage of help and ideas and stuff. And I'm finding that out already just from going around. Like I already know people like from the festival here that heard about it, and like they're like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to that, and spreading the word and everything. I saw a guy, I was testing some, Soup was testing some. Did you see the photos I sent you of the TVs on the screen on stage in front of the lake and everything? With our pictures in it and everything. Well, they'll be able to, while we're on stage, record, like he has cameras. So in real time, they'll be filming us and putting it into the projection so we can be on the TV, in the TVs.
We'll be in the TVs, out of the TVs, in the TVs.
Exactly.
Inside the TVs, outside of them.
Exactly. And we're testing some of that out. And this guy came up and he was like, whoa, Shane Mauss is going to be here? And I was like, I am Shane Mauss.
Was it showing an old photo?
Here. No, it was showing your avatar of me in the fucking
that's
beard.
funny.
And like he just couldn't process that I was like standing right in front of him. It was very flattering, so cool. Actually.
Was he like really excited after he...
Oh yeah. And get this, dude. There's another thing. You know how Soup, have we shared what Soup's name gets confused with on the show?
Stew, right?
Yeah.
Stew is a real name. Stuart Pickles. Stuart Copeland.
And his real name's Steve, but he goes by Soup. And so because no one's named Soup, Like I get Sean instead of Shane all the time. He gets Stu, which makes all sorts of sense when you hear it. Oh well. This kid's name was Bagel. There's a lot of food-based people around. Do you want to guess what I called him?
Baggy?
No.
Donut.
Yeah, donut.
Donut makes like, just as much sense as bagel.
Nice to meet you, donut. He just went on this fucking epic thing about what a fatty was. He's going on all these podcasts he'd heard me on and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, great to meet you.
Had he ever gotten that?
I don't know. He's a flaming a poi spin, the flaming
a
like
flame spinner,
thing.
Fire spinner.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thus the name because of the motion.
Oh, yeah, bagels. Yeah, those are donuts too.
Yeah, those are
just
donuts
be
too.
Donut. Do it for us. We'll call you Don, like Don Draper.
Yeah.
Well, it's short for donut.
Yeah.
Peggy, you have this on my desk by now.
Oh yeah, so that was one of the things I was like,
terrible John Draper.
I was like, you're doing great. I was like, how do we? Because we talked about having the Science Peninsula and the Woo Peninsula, and then I was also because in between that there's a small one where there's 2 yurts where the lunatics are staying, but there's also like a picnic table. And it's
the non-binary picnic right in between, not science, not woo.
I think it's the psych ward.
Oh, it is the psych ward. And they think that it's the, whatever I called it, the non-binary peninsula.
Yeah, we can call it both
crazy.
The non-binary psych ward. And I was like, how are you going to compete with the woo? How is the science side? Because I'm very invested in, if I'm going to get all these scientists here, like my main thing, at the end of the day, after all, like I just want people to go over and listen to scientists talk for a little while.
That's the big scheme, huh? It's not about the hot dogs and the light shows.
Yeah. I just want people to like get a chance to talk with scientists about like nature and stuff like that. And so I was like, how do we get people to that area? Because it's a little bit of a walk around. It's where maybe the outhouses and stuff, which ideas are developing there. Soup was like, oh, outside the art house, we could live stream so that we know when anyone goes in, we see when they're going in, and then we know how long it took when they.
You're gonna have to put extra film in that camera for me. It cut out about 2 hours in. Can we get an external battery pack for the camera?
Well, we really are the yin and the yang, because I'll be in and out where people will be like, there's no way he pooped. But the poop signal just blinked when Shane went in there. Here's what I thought of. Wi-Fi in the Science Peninsula. Like you want good Wi-Fi to upload your photos and everything.
And it makes sense because
you got to go to Science Land.
Science is less interesting and less, just that it doesn't have the star quality that the woo-woo does. Like the woo-woo, we'll talk about crystals, we love light consciousness, we're all one, you can manifest anything. Reality is made of your thoughts. You think where you want the movie to go next, that's what happens. And then meanwhile, in the science one, it's like, do you want your computer to actually work? Do you want your computer chip to compute? Do you want the flashlight to turn on? Okay. Let's actually make it. And then meanwhile, I'm wearing this. I'm like, but the crystals, once they're charged though, and you focus your intent, then.
Exactly. And then if I can get the scientists, like, that's what I was saying. Like, I didn't want to blow anything the last week when you're like, what kind of idea? But you just got to get scientists like revved up to like compete with something like that. And
do you think Dr. Christopher Ryan will come hold a bonobo orgy?
You should have Dr. Christopher
I would
Ryan
love
on
to.
Rainbow Brain Skull. I can set that up for you. Asked him?
I asked him
When?
like 5 years ago, but I think I got
can
buried.
Connect you right now.
Okay,
No.
cool.
Yeah. That's 100%. You can have
Excellent.
Dr. Christopher
I'm worthy
Ryan
now. I think before I wasn't
on your
worthy.
podcast. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's yeah. That's an easy one. You can make that happen. So tomorrow there's this sconc.org. It's the science communication.
SEONCE. That's not how you spell science. Do it again.
sconc.org.
Science.org.
Yeah.
SCONC. Sonk.org. I'm gonna accept it. I'm an easy Scrabble player. What's that? Science
Communicators of North Carolina.
Oh, of North Carolina.
That figure out all of the science communicators in the Research Triangle. The president of that is coming tomorrow morning for me to give her a tour of the area to show all of the plans that I've been. That I can't even share half of them.
Cool. How long is it a drive for them?
Things. I don't know. Probably not that long. Probably like 40. So
that's cool. I judge their interest by how long they're willing to drive to see something.
That makes sense. Well, that's also the drive it's FYI for people. It's like 25 minutes from downtown, but it's also like another 5 minutes when you're on the property. You have to, like, when Soup first showed us that fucking crummy map of his that we're going to redo and like it not to Soup's listening right now. He knows he needs to update his website.
Don't you have work to do?
But
go listen to Lex Friedman.
It's a good map for yurt rental. It's not a good map for festival planning because all of the action is like off of the map, and then there's a huge field, and then you have to like when I first was talking with him, I was like, how many people could fit in that field where you're saying there's camping? And he's like, doesn't matter. Like, I don't know, like 1,000 or something, whatever. There's like more fields. And I'm like, okay, well, like I better look at this for myself, like I can't just tell a bunch of people to go to a thing. And then I got here and it's like, oh, it's 1.5 miles of fields to get to that field. Like, it's a space that would be perfect for the field space that we're going to use for camping. It would be perfect for like a 5,000 person show. Like, we're going to utilize it in a totally different way, but that's the space would be like absolutely perfect for that.
Cool.
It'll be like a fucking epic event one day. It'll be a huge space.
I don't think I've ever done 5,000. No, I would have remembered that. Well, maybe at Fun Fest. I don't know how many people were there, but it was outside and it was a lot. But what's the biggest audience that you can remember?
That 4,000 or 5,000.
4,000 or 5,000? Is that on a festival?
I think
Montreal or
for
something.
Joel McHale, I think.
Oh,
was
okay.
Like some of the bigger ones. Bo Burnham.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
He's been big longer than he's not been big.
Yeah. I opened for Bo Burnham on a special, like, yeah, it's that is crazy. He's been big for longer than he's not been big.
Yeah, because he's famous
really
at 12
soon,
and now he's 30.
17 or something like that. And talented. Very talented.
With 2 L's.
Yeah.
He's tall. But you don't notice that. You're at eye level with him, I think.
He's a little taller than me, I think. I think he's like 6'6".
Damn, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Deja vu. I think we talked about this already, episode 4. I get moments of sometimes on the podcast. I'm
I
like,
don't
did
mind
we say this exact same thing a year ago?
Yeah, there's a few things that like were concerning to me, which was people
About the
brought up
field?
concerns. No, about like, we want this to be a mind under matter event. And like, so first of all, we can just, like, as I was watching, like, the bands that come on and everything, there's just all of this time where they're tearing things down and then putting another thing up and whatnot. And that's time that like we can MC or have like Dave Waite or Zach.
We could
Sherwin,
be Perry Farrell
like,
of Lollapalooza.
Yeah. And so it flows, and still have plenty of time to talk with everyone. You can meet so many people in a hurry. And there's lost my train of thought.
You're worried that people wanted this to be exclusive to the pod world, and you don't want a stranger being like, "What's mind under matter? I only like two bears, one cave." Have you heard of the jet ski that he got him?
So that was my concern, and that was like some other mummy's concern too. If there's like 1,000 people there, say, which would fill the space like perfectly, honestly, I want to measure my expectations, but it's like 400 people fit in a comedy club. Like, I can get 400 people in a comedy club. Why not 1,000 people to the most amazing fucking thing that I've ever performed at? And so one of the things is, how do you have an intimate experience? Well, if you're like a hardcore mummy from the get-go, and one, there's a Patreon day on the Thursday before where those people will get to come early and have a more intimate experience. And only them.
Yeah, and we're the hardest core mummies there are. We've not only listened to every episode, we've been in every episode.
And so they'll get to arrange, because I had a way of arranging the field. I think you go from one corner surrounded by trees, to a different corner, like around a field surrounded by trees, and you separate it by this: late nighters and early risers. Ooh. So neither of them keep the other one up. So I love that.
Can we get Paul Reiser for the daytime one? And he's only there in the like morning, and he just does a little bit of stand up.
Oh my God. One day I got to show a clip on here. I should have reached out to Robbie Roadsteamer and see if I can show an old clip of his.
Is it a wrestler?
It's funny you say that, because that was this comedian, Rob Paletto, that did this character when I started comedy like 20 years ago, called Robbie Roadsteamer. That was like a wrestler, like hard rock guy, like wearing like a cape and like a red jumpsuit and everything, like
general
that.
Casting wrestling.
And he'd always be like, I know I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. He'd always be like, he'd get on stage after like, people had done their like, okay, like mediocre like comedy sets or whatever. He'd get on stage and be like, comedy's dead. Paul Reiser did everything in 1987. He was so right.
He did. He is one of the OG observational comics, right?
Yeah,
I think him and Seinfeld. I mean, I'm sure there's a handful of other ones, but that is the best line I've ever heard in my whole life. And I think it should be applied to everything.
And so I have an idea for people. This is going to seem very self-interested, but it's also smart and it helps us out.
I get all the pillows and the food. You sleep on the ground and starve because, it's going to be more fun because I'll have energy to perform better and be more enjoyable.
That's what you thought my Machiavellian strategy was for pillows and food? It's so much better than that.
Okay.
Man, you're underselling my strategizing. Easy peasy. All that you have to do is show up wearing a Mum or a Ramin shirt, and everyone is going to know that you're in the know. If you wear those around,
sell that merch.
Not only that, But if you pick the one that's meaningful to you, then you already have a conversation topic ready to go, just like we do on Mind Under Art. And if we don't sell any of your shirts at the event, we only sell like Campout shirts or whatever else, then you'll know there can't be any way for fakers to be there.
Yeah.
There'll be like other, because shirts are a pain in the ass to sell anyway. And we have so many other like terrific, fun, silly things that we're going to have there if you want souvenirs that like, I'm not going to burden us with
Campfire wood, official Mind Under Matter campfire wood with our lines etched into it.
I've already purchasing a shed to be there permanently in the space so we could resell if it like doesn't,
like a Home Depot shed that you see out in the front.
Yeah, but better. And we got a good deal on it. And so I already have one pallet of boat carpet being delivered to it. That's with a lot of other things. And I think that, because I think rather than having sponsors that like, hey, you give us these things and we put like Pepsi on a thing instead. No. We pick you. You're just a random business that doesn't want to be sponsored or anything else. The thought of it terrifies you probably. And you're sponsoring our festival. BoatCarpetOutlet.com. That's the sponsor.
Our permanent sponsor in perpetuity, even after our deaths. We've already had legal contracts drawn up where two people will replace us as hosts and plug BoatCarpetOutlet.com. So that's BoatCarpetOutlet.com. Enter in code Rogan to get 50% off.
What's amazing about the opportunity is that it allows for, so you talk about fun fest, or like going to some of these like comedy festivals. Well, every comedy festival is like banners and signs around town like, come and see this comedy festival. And then you go, oh, who's playing? And then you like, oh, this person's playing there. And then you go into that building and then you go in and you watch the show, and that's the comedy experience that you have. But what we're doing is building a whole mum world where the jokes are like all over the fucking place. So you get to take pictures in the TVs and stuff like that. I said the porta potty Carlin thing already.
Of course.
Yeah. Like, I just don't want to blow too many of the
I should have made you say it again. I would have just pretended like to forget.
That. I'm just tracking what I can say and what I can't say.
Only like you should write down what you can say and what you can't, and then have it as like a checklist of do not touch. And then maybe it's okay to tease a little bit, but no, we can't be at all. Maybe 1 year, not our first year, but maybe year 4, we can have the spoiler year where every detail is available if you look. In an episode or the website, down to the last blade of grass painted purple for some reason.
So I posted some stories on my Instagram with some video and stuff I was shooting of it, just because that's only up for 24 hours, a little sneak preview for people that follow closely or whatever. And we'll put some more stuff together, but it's really figuring out what's the right amount to get people excited about, and what's the right amount to have people excited when they're there. Because that's what I actually want, is
the
for
Goldilocks
people to
zone.
Be excited when they're there. And I don't think it will be that hard to get people there. With me living, I think I'm going to do a comedy show on the lake, so people can come out and see a stand-up show with me or whatever to see the space in July or
This
something
week?
like that.
Oh, in July.
No, like I got to figure it out still. And then I can show people just like all of the plans that I have for the space, because when we do that, people are real excited.
So where are you living right now? Where you moved to there? Where are you staying?
You want to, so remember last week when you were like, so right now I'm in Soup's place. I'm staying in a yurt. So remember last week when you're like, oh, you don't meet people, or no, you were like, did you meet people at the
One Wheel Fest, Shred Fest?
And I was like, yeah, I mean, I met people, but here I like met everybody. This was like, and this is like the kind of crowd that we'll have there, except probably a little more science, oriented.
Better looking. The hottest hotties.
And
we should do a hotness test at some point too.
I was meeting a bunch of people. Mum book.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was meeting a bunch of people, and then I was just like, I was recording a bunch of stuff to shoot some things for promo and everything else. And then I was just in I was in like a 3-person like 3 hammocks strung up on like a little structure.
You can't say strung up
thing. And I had to move. I had to move out of, or I had to like someone's purse or something like that, or it was in a hammock that I wanted to use. And so I just set it below the hammock. I'm sitting there, and this girl comes by. I don't even know if I should say that.
Are you telling me that there was a purse in the hammock and you displaced it?
I displaced their stuff.
She was saving the muck.
And then she kept on coming by to get stuff here and there. And then we were talking about a few things. And then she brought her fiance over and stuff, who's she's no, it's not a sex story.
Oh, I took it back.
It's not a nice. No, it's her fiance. She's is also a female. As
the fiance.
Yeah, as if growing up, if my extended family heard this, this is what their report would have been. They would have been like, I met these 2 girls, and they're together. And you know what? They were actually pretty nice. That's what they would say.
They weren't wearing denim and like
they were nice. Assuming they wouldn't be nice. That's what they would say. I'm telling you. So anyhow, like I'm sharing all my ideas for the festival with a bunch of people, but these 2, I could just tell, when you meet a good brain, like a good brain that you jive with.
Oh yeah, it's the best. It's less than Vegas odds.
Knows how to fucking jam and gets it. They fucking just get it. And so I'm like pointing all this stuff out and hashing all these things out, and we're all just laughing and having a great time. And then the next day, I was like, I put a thing on Instagram. I was like, hey, looking for a room in Raleigh on a story on Instagram. And they were like, oh, we have an extra room and you could stay. And then I was like, well, let's talk about it again tonight. And so then they came out, we're going around. They're just great people. And dude, listen to this. This is fucking crazy. You want to talk about like making connections at a thing like this? This is like magic. This is the sort of thing that you want to happen.
knew you believed in magic. You did not say this is statistical regression to the mean. You said this is magic. This is serendipity, synchronicity. We haven't talked
about science in so long. I miss my science brain.
It's gone. We'll bring it back. Science always grows back.
It does. It keeps on expanding into the unknown. But so then, like, it's like 2 a.m. things are wrapping up. And we're like, now we're going to be roommates for the summer. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is cool. You guys are great. And then I was like, do you guys want to like come back to my yurt? I have this fucking awesome deck with a like a thing for a fire and everything. Like a smokeless fire thing. And so we go back, like a couple other people gather around and stuff, and we start a fire, and there's like, 6 of us talking or whatever. And this girl is like, her name's Anna. I'll give her full name in a little bit because everyone should check her out. She was like, I wish I had my guitar here. It's back in my car and it's such a long walk. I'm like, oh, I can go and take you to your car quick to get the guitar. That'd be nice. Have a little guitar around a campfire. Drive back, get her guitar.
It's a flying V.
Drive her back. No, and then she pulls her guitar out. We sit down. Think nothing of it. We're all just having conversation. She's tuning her guitar. She starts playing and everything. And like, no one's really paying attention. Everyone's just like talking. And then she starts singing and everyone just turns and is like, what the fuck? And like everyone just stops, dead silent. This couple comes over and just starts listening, and it's like, who are you? This person doesn't have like a music Instagram page or anything. We were across the lake. 2 people from the biggest band at the festival. There was good bands. Like 3 a.m, drunkenly in the dark, found their way around the lake because they heard this girl and they came there and they're like, what's your deal? Like there was a guy there that brought his wife over. It was her 52nd birthday. And she was like, you just made my whole birthday. This is like one of the most amazing experiences that she's just this incredible singer songwriter. And we're just sitting around like, what the fuck? And
Maybe
these guys were like, do you need to be in a band? Like, we know people that they're like, you just need to, like, she's like, I just don't know what to do. And they're like, oh, like we can get you like a record deal. Everyone's like, yeah, we can get you like a record deal. Like that's like,
so too shy to post on social, or are they perhaps older than the Gen Z?
No, she's like 27. She's
27 and doesn't know how to be a million follower on TikTok.
Dude,
that was in their genome.
Instagram, you have to go down like so far to see one video of her playing music, and it's like a cover, which is like good. She's a good singer, but her songwriting is like mind-blowing. It's like incredible. Everyone was just like, what? And she tells little stories. It was nuts.
This next one is about this time that I summoned some people from across the lake to hear me. This one's called Come. Come over to the side of the lake.
It was like a lot of, it was actually like hyper philosophical, like Ram Dass based stuff and what like influenced by things like that.
One, but what is one but a mathematical construct made by our brain to survive?
Dude, she wasn't even going to get her guitar. And it's like, and now it's like there's musicians in town. They're like, yeah, we can.
That could be a pivotal
in a thing.
That could have been the pivotal moment that made her go on the timeline where she is actually pursuing that. Whereas if she had left it in the car, she's like working at Turbo
and now
Tax
they have,
or something.
Yeah, and now they have me as a roommate for the summer. It's so crazy.
So one more time, there's the lesbian couple that you live with, and the guitar singer-songwriter is one of those people?
Yeah.
The first one you met, purse one or non-purse?
Yeah, the first purse one, Anna.
Purse hammock singer-songwriter roommate.
Yeah.
Anna and Mackenzie. Yeah. That is a Canadian lesbian couple names.
You think Canadian?
Mackenzie, maybe because I'm just thinking of the Mackenzie River, and back in Canada, I knew lots of people with last name Mackenzie. There's also Bob and Doug Mackenzie from Red Green Show. No, not Red Green Show. It's actually just called Bob and Doug Mackenzie.
Yeah, that's it. That was what was their catchphrase?
Because it's Rick Moranis, right? It's Rick Moranis and some other guy pretending to be these Canadian
catchphrase. It was so popular.
Oh, McCool is gonna have to put that one in there, unless you want to look it up real quick. But you have 56K modem there.
It doesn't matter.
I tried to just look it up right now on my notes app, as if that would do anything. Hey, why isn't it coming up?
Yeah, so it's
I know what you're saying though. It was what is the quote? The Canadians are going nuts right now. I don't know.
I don't remember their whole
hosers. Take off, you hoser.
Yeah. It was like take off, you hoser. Or something.
Yeah, something with hosers. Yeah,
take off, you hoser.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Just lit the world on fire. Everything that pops like that is so ridiculous in hindsight. It's because anything that we build up too much in our minds, it just simply isn't objective anymore. You know, like the things that. It's like when you look back, it's like those smaller things that you like remember appreciating quite a bit more, and maybe like some big events and stuff. Like this last week, I had the most fun that I've had since Azora Festival that I went to, and even that was like horrible music by my standards and like too loud and everything, but it was like a cool thing to see. And but yeah, the idea of getting to build a property that's like a joke of mum worlds and stuff. So like when you're entering in, there's like mum jokes like along the road as you're driving in and stuff is amazing. Yeah. There's a drive. They did drive-in movies. So they have, you know how you tune into a radio? Yeah. So, you know, you tune into a radio to listen. So we can broadcast whatever we want on that radio. So we could have like...
I forget if we said it on the phone or in the episode, but 24/7 old Mind Under Matter episodes.
I think if we had all of our, that's a solution to like, if someone brings one of their friends and it's like, wait, who are these guys? They turn on the radio and it's just all of our highlights on a loop.
Or check this out. Yeah. I mean, it can be that too, or it can be both of them. And this might be making extra work for us, but it's not because it's just what we're doing right now. But we tape a secret episode that's only being broadcast on the FM station. So it's like you can only tune into it in old technology. You can't download it. It's only being transmitted from the FM station.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It's another 3 hours of work. But this is work right now.
There's also, I mean, we have 11 and a half hours of music in that playlist that we can have on a loop too. It is just kind of cool that anyone can tune in at any time and like go around, and it could be playing, you know, at a similar time. But I also like the idea of having different like little neighborhoods within the campsite, because there's enough space to play with. And I still haven't seen people use the space right for camping. Most people just like parking right next to each other and setting up a tent right next to each other.
It's
and then
rigid.
There's just like nothing but open space. They don't tell people to do that. That's just like what people do. And I think that if you have a little more intention, you set up a little bit of a space and create like various camps where like different camps have different music tastes or something like that. So you go through and everyone has like a slightly different, I don't know. It's a little complicated at this moment, but we have 3 months to think about it. And the first, there's the artist day on the Wednesday before. So that will give the artists a chance to get in there first and like figure out their space. And then the Patreon day after that. So then that will be the smaller group setting claim on the neighborhoods. And then after that is general admission day. So here's what I would say, and I mean this, and this doesn't make any more money for us. In fact, it costs us more money.
No, don't do it. Whatever he's about to tell you.
So there's, well, other than the Patreon day, I guess. So I've had people like, oh, maybe I could come out for the weekend or whatever. And I've been like, that's cool. Yeah, do that. Come out for the weekend. But it's a few months away. Get the day off of work. If I were you, I would stay Thursday to Monday, because there's like 2 days with like lots of stuff going on, and then there's just lots of area to relax. Raleigh's a cool city as well. That's 20 minutes away that you can check out, that you're not going to once you're there. But I'm just saying,
safety
if you're
blanket.
going all the way there, there's like it's more money for us because we need to pay more staff, more everything else for more people to be there on every day. But I highly recommend going for the entire time.
Get a full order of fries. Don't order a quarter order.
Yeah.
You're going to want to get the full order. Trust me.
And that should be an endorsement, because I've been there for 2 weeks, and I'm going to be sad when I have to leave.
How long are you going to leave for?
I'm going to go back to Wisconsin. I guess record a couple more episodes then.
Those are going to be great.
Get a few other things together, and we'll record you might have to wear that again.
I'd love to. Maybe I'll do it a little better. Maybe Catherine can do my makeup. Maybe she can do white makeup. Like white whatever you call it, eyeshadow. I feel so bad because I was supposed to have, there was talk that maybe there was going to be like weird lighting and stuff behind me and some other things going on. I was going to go to a costume store. There's just been too much going on. And then I wanted to share all of this great news, because also I was in my head about the last 2 episodes. I was like, after this weekend, I was like, what in the world was I so worried about? I mean, it's a huge investment and everything else. Yeah. We have more to risk than anybody, but at the same time, it's like, this is so fucking incredible. It's amazing. Cause it's not in like a roller coaster ride kind of way either. Just in like a chill, people hanging out, catching some music, catching some comedy, hearing some science talks, doing a sauna, hanging out on the lake, doing some paddle boarding, and making some connections with people. And fucking, that is what life is about. And I think a lot of people, this could be totally wrong, it's just my intuition, that a lot of people that are into podcasts probably don't have that experience often. They probably live in a city or they're in a town, and they want the company of people in their ears a lot. And there's not a lot of real life happening. And like the world has gone like less alive, in the past 2 years with pandemic, and also because of the technology and everything. So to be able to step away from your routine, and you'll get to go back home. We all get to go back home, but then you'll have integrated the world of the journey, the travel,
even the routine that I've been doing is so much better. Like when I got to send all the pain in the ass emails and everything else that I have to do that I don't.
On a wooden computer,
on a wooden computer.
Yeah, you have to light a match each time you send it.
I'll tell you this. I haven't played that stupid Teach You game once.
You hate that game that you love.
In the 2 weeks that I've been here. Can you believe that? If that's not saying something, I don't know what is.
What about pickleball?
Two fucking. I haven't played. I do miss pickleball a little bit. I haven't played pickleball. But
do you think he could make us a court? Could Soup put down some of that stuff?
There's a court really close by. We could definitely.
Could he make us a mum court that's like half orange, half purple?
You know what I was thinking?
And that our heads can be the paddles.
You know what I was thinking? That's similar. Let's hash it out. This is fine because this is a small one that's not going to spoil much of anything. But beanbag toss, like
cornhole. We already did that bit.
Get those painted.
Yeah,
Mom.
we did. We talked about that, right? It's so hard to remember. This is my problem with
talking to me off of the.
This is my problem with Campout episodes and talking off the phone because I don't remember what we're repeating and what is that. And perhaps we should maybe, if we're going to bring out exciting Campout stuff that is not a secret, maybe we should save that for when we're recording. And then when it's secret stuff, we do that on the phone. And then there's no overlap, which is okay to repeat what was on the phone call on here. But now I'm like, oh, did we say that 2 episodes ago? Did we say that 3 episodes ago? It's
so much to keep track of. That's for sure. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It would be good to have some kind of alarm that used an AI that recognizes a string of characters that you've said before. Yeah. Warning, repetitive, podcaster alert, you're losing them to
Ramin, our styles are different too, where I just like popping on the phone with anyone at any time and like hashing out things, and like Ramin prefers to like have boundaries and set times and things like that to like, and that's just how our brains work differently and well, and so we both need to like cater to like each other's best brains. and so there's so
we are going to repeat. I think it's fine, like as long as if we repeat too much, just let us know on the comments, the Discord, the Instagram.
It's only a bummer for repeating something like, oh, there's gonna be mum cornhole things, because that's like one of the most boring things that will be there. But that just gives you an idea of like, we'll be able to add a little flavor to all of the areas.
Now I want to come up with something more boring than that. Like I'll make celery chair, and that's the official most boring thing.
I got a boring one for you. There's water all over the place, like hoses and like faucets and stuff like that, and all sorts of different areas, because there's outdoor showers and stuff, as we've discussed. And like one sign that can be replicated for like water here or something like that, just so people can see it better, because I believe in hydration for things like this. That's like one of those boring ass tasks that maybe we can throw in a little Ramin flavor and figure out some sort of art to make it like a little more interesting than just saying water.
Yeah. I'd like to have it, as much as I can, have artwork as the signage. So it's like we're in an actual, Disneyland is a small world. Yeah. Sort of vibe.
I'm so excited, man. I'm very excited. And I got a special. I'm going to drop one thing. I talked about this with Rihanna. I talked about all of the other things that we're putting in the gift bag for the first 222 people, OG 222. And she said that I was cleared to say this. She said this would be okay to spoil. The first 222 people are getting a custom. So, I used to always have like leather keychains made by Lost Sailor Design, one of the best leather artists that there is, and with very psychedelic. So the first 222 people are getting some design that we make. There's only going to be 222 of them in existence ever. That something about the Too Easy 222 or something like that. and you'll have that keychain for life. So 5 years from now, when you come to the Mum Campout, you'll be able to easily signal in an uncounterfeitable way that you are one of the OG 222. And if you flash that to me to a show or anything like that, it'll mean something. What it will mean, we don't know.
I'll let you into Shane's shows for free if you show it to me.
Yeah. I'll let Ramin into my show.
I'll let you into any Dave Chappelle show if you show me the Too Easy 222 keychain.
Yeah, well, Ramin doesn't want to overpromise anything, and nor do I. But I hook people up that I know are hardcore fans, for sure, and always have. So, do you know that Soup started with 6 lights and 2 projectors? Like, he started a business with 6 lights and 2 projectors.
So that was his whole company, just renting out those 8 objects?
And like going to shows and setting those up for the stage lights at events. And just wanted to do like projector art and stuff. That's his whole thing. Like, he's a VJ, and then he just like expanded, and now he just does like huge concerts. And
how many has he got now? More than you can count?
Yeah. yeah. Like yeah. So some all over the place. I'm sure there's a bunch all over the country right now.
That's a great story, but I wish it was he started with 1 light.
I think that would have been great. With 2 projectors and someone else had 6 lights. Okay. I think that's how. But
imagine if he started with 1 light and he just like went and showed it to the girl playing the guitar at the campfire, and that's like, I'm gonna get into lights, and then he puts up his second hand, and then he holds one in his mouth, and then another one held up by you know what. Dick LEDs.
I don't know if the Dick LED story would be better. It would be stranger if that was his path to success.
That's
for
true.
Sure. And in terms of the science talks, another thing that was reminiscent, because I like just thinking of the various things I've done in my life. I've always liked going to places, and whenever I find like a new food or something like that, I'm like, ooh, if I brought that back to like my hometown or whatever, that would make a killing. Do you ever
like
have
John
that
Hershey
experience?
and chocolate? Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned about this new thing called chocolate in Switzerland.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I had, because there's some food trucks around and stuff rotating. I had a lobster roll there that was like absolutely incredible. But one of the things that I remember, this is like 2019, I went to that Azora Festival, but before that, I went to this smaller one in England called the Port Eliot Festival, and it had started as a book fair in this area that had like a castle and all this land around and stuff like that. And then they turned it into this like big event, but it had music and all these Russell Brand. That's where I met Russell Brand. Actually, it had like, you know, a bunch of comics. I was there and stuff, and it was all like, you know, consciousness type based things, and then and all of these various areas sprinkled all around. It's where I got my my top hat and the where they had the vintage clothing booth with the long, and I have very fond memories of that. And I know if I put like a grown-up science fair in there, I can introduce like an element that doesn't exist at other festivals that I know of in the US, and it will just be an incredible mix of things. So
hell yeah, baking soda volcanoes.
I always feel like I get a little too salesy, but I'm also being exceptionally genuine, and I'm just thrilled. I'm so thrilled that I'm moving to Raleigh to do this, because I'm going to start getting stuff together right away and start putting some promo pictures and stuff together, because there's so many amazing things that can happen for free to cheap but just like you need to be here and like put the work in to like make it happen.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to do a lot with a little, and it's pretty exciting.
Hell yeah. And we're going to continue to do, what do we call it? Campout Corner. Like we'll do camp out updates at the end, but like I've said before, if it's every episode is too camp out oriented, then there's no new mom world stuff being generated.
Of course. But I'm just so excited right now, and we got to capture my excitement because if you were here, you would be as thrilled as well. But
would I have seen Bill Maher?
You
Probably
wouldn't have seen Bill Maher. What do you think about Vegas generally?
It smells like cigarettes and cocoa butter, and it's very loud and bright, and it doesn't really draw me in really. Like I found $21 in my suit pants pocket after I said I'm not going to gamble, and then I found $21. I'm like, this is meant to be played on blackjack. It's destiny. And then as I'm walking in there, I'm like, no, I'll just keep the $21. The thing I do like about it though is that in the hotels on the Strip, the casinos open 24 hours a day, and so you can go up to your room and it's blacked out, and then at night it's everything is still alive. There's something fun about underneath you, the world is never sleeping. Yeah. But other than that, I think I would get tired of it pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure. What
about you?
That's why people come in.
Can
there
you talk
for a
about
weekend.
the thing?
No, I can't talk about the thing.
You can later though. I know I just did the thing where I said
actually, so because I'm working on like a potentially immersive psychedelic comedy show with adding visuals and stuff like that. And Soup is a VJ, we might get to demonstrate a little bit of that at the Campout when we do the Head Talk show.
Okay, cool. That's just the right amount of sharing.
And Vegas is, I've thought long and hard about what Vegas would be like for me to live in. And that should be a sign. Like, I didn't need to think about moving to Raleigh. Like, oh yeah, no, this makes sense. And Vegas, yeah, that takes like a lot of consideration. Like, and it's mostly like, well, there's a lot of nature around and stuff. If you just don't go anywhere near what Vegas is known for, there's other good stuff around. Like, that's a lot of it. And
I know nothing of that part of it.
Stuff. Yeah, there's cool like nature stuff and whatnot.
I'm sure there
Grand
is.
Canyons nearby.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that I want to see.
The drive from little travel tip. The drive from Vegas to LA or if you even went to Salt Lake City from there, or just straight to Denver or Salt Lake City and then Denver, whatever. Do you have to go through? You go through Utah. I'm kind of forgetting. But anyway, LA to Denver, which goes through Vegas, is maybe one of the finest drives in the entire country, if you want my opinion on a nice road trip. The other one is LA up to Portland along the coast. And then the drive that you want to avoid is like Denver back to Wisconsin. Done that a few times. Just nothing but farmland, baby. Just nothing.
No, that's maybe cool to get into a trance though. When I have nowhere near the experience you do, but getting into a drive, like if you can get into a trance where just time compresses till say 8 hours becomes 5, becomes 1, becomes...
I don't mind it. I guess when I've had like a lady with me or something like that and I had to drive, I was like, oh, sorry for this 8 hours of experience. But yeah, by myself, it's fine. So Vegas, yeah, I mean, honestly, like I'm looking into Vegas because it would allow me the possibility to put together a show that I want to put together that I could tour in other places and give me the resources and stability to do that, like financially, because there's a rotating audience of people. And Vegas is pretty fun for like, I mean, the turnaround of Vegas is like 3 days. Marketing works on like a 3 to 4 day schedule.
Cool.
Because that's like how
tourists are only there
people are through, which is the correct amount of time to be in Vegas. But to live there, I don't know.
I would love to do a residency. I mean, I'd have to be a big name, but to do like a, Gabriel Iglesias, Bill Maher, Joan Rivers style like residency where you're there and you're getting paid a lot, but then some shows have 12 people in it and I think that'd be an interesting experience. But honestly,
that's what I'm putting together. And it's like, it's 4 hours from LA too. So it's like,
it's nothing.
And it's cheap to live too, as long as you don't
as long as you don't set a foot in the hotel.
Or whatever. Yeah.
$7 waters.
Yeah.
The vending machine water was $4, and then we're like, hey, maybe if we go to the little convenience store in the lobby, it's a little bit cheaper. I'm like, how much is this? They're like, that's $7, and the Fiji is $8. If you want to save money, go for the Dasani. That one is $6.50. So yeah, you got to drink that tap water.
Someone was telling me that, or maybe I just heard this somewhere, that a good thing to do is to order sparkling water. When they come around at restaurants, they're like, do you want tap or sparkling? And most reasonable, logical people say, I want tap water. And that makes a lot of sense. But if you order sparkling water, that signals to the wait staff, they're like, oh, this person's going to spend money, whether they're like spending it foolishly or on a date or whatever. This is like, the people that buy that also like tip well or whatever else, and
and then you pull a fast one on them.
Better service because you get the water. I don't know.
That makes sense actually, unless too many people use that trick. But
I don't know. Have you ever busted tables before or anything? Have you ever worked in the food service industry?
I taught traffic school at a restaurant, and part of my duty there was taking orders, because you would teach the defensive driving, and then you would ask people what they wanted from the lunch menu, and you took orders, and then you went back to the kitchen, you put it on the thing, and then later you help carry out the plates and stuff. But it's not the same experience as like, oh, I've got table 6 in this side and I have to deal with this. It was kind of a mix of teaching defensive driving and then getting food for them, but never a straight up waiter job.
I feel like I couldn't do it. I just can't. I have a hard time touching something that someone else's food has been on. It's not logical or anything.
It's so weird because the food looks delicious, but something about a plate with like food marks on it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, gross. Food was on it. I'm doing dishes. Ugh.
Yeah. There's something strange about that. There has to be some evolutionary underpinnings there, of like used or it's like food that wasn't used, like, well, why wasn't that food used? If it's worth eating, or what, if there's still food on that plate, it's probably going to kill you.
Yeah.
So don't eat that. All right, my friend. Well, I'm very excited for the camp out, and next week we're going to do the light episode. With
even more light and a white background. Maybe is the bottom of this white? I think if we flip our curtains around, it's white background.
Ooh, that's not
white backgrounds, white clothes.
I can deal with that. Yeah, I can deal with that. White backgrounds, white clothes.
Keeping it white.
I love this. I love this look on you.
Thank you. One day, maybe I'll be a serious wearing fashion clothes person. Like I'll dress like Russell Brand or Lenny Kravitz. Like it starts off as a joke for podcasts, but then
now that you say that, I'm seeing it a little bit. Will you dress up like, oh, maybe you could wear some Prince like flair or something.
Oh, that'd be great.
Campout.
Yeah, get the little the platform
fun.
boots.
Oh man. Okay. Well, everybody, make sure and be one of the Too Easy 222. Get your tickets now while those last. Still figuring out what we're adding, what we're upping tickets to. It's going to be a supply and demand situation. It'll depend on how many other podcasts we're on and stuff like that. But even if you aren't coming to the Campout, which I don't expect anyone to fly, like there's a bunch of people flying. I don't expect that. I know it's a cool, awesome special event. I don't expect that. We're working on getting people around the area mostly, but we're really taking a chance on making something special. So now would be a really good time to do some stuff to help us boost a little bit. If you've been like waiting to write that review on Apple Podcast or Google Podcast or whatever, please write that review. If you've been waiting to like join Patreon or whatever else, this is the time. We're putting everything we can into if you've liked this show so far, we're really trying to up the ante with all of this and keep on expanding and building cool things. And so we would really love the support. You guys are awesome. Next week, Light Triad episode. And until next time,
keep on salivating, honeys. Ding.